Hi everyone, 3BearFox here, and I'm here to show off my second video about my favorite Pipecleaner creations. I know my first video wasn't all that big a hit compared to my other ones, especially one in particular. For those of you who subscribe to me, you know what I'm talking about. But my pipe cleaner business has grown quite a bit. For those of you who don't know, I actually now have the Etsy shop open. The link is below, so go check it out whenever you can. Some of these are not going to be available on Etsy. I'm going to say right now, my Disney characters are not going to be available on Etsy for personal reasons. But a lot of the ones you'll see here are actually already up for sale, and you can go ahead and check them out after this video. Today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite ones here, the superheroes, and of course talking about not just Marvel, not just DC, but just kind of an all-encompassing category of heroes for the pipe cleaners here. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of my first ones here. Okay, some of you may recall when in my first pipe cleaner video I did a pipe cleaner creation of Darkwing Duck, and as much as I liked how he came out, it came with a very big flaw that I just can't make capes or his wide brim hat out of pipe cleaners, and it just looked really dumb when I did it out of pipe cleaners. Well, good news, ladies and gentlemen, I found a way to fix the situation. May I present the terror, the collapse in the night? Hey, is the iTunes update that never goes away. Hey, it's Darkwing Duck! How about this, huh? That is right. Now, for those of you who are wondering what material I used, even if you're not wondering, felt. Plain and simple. Just light gray felt, dark gray felt, pink felt, and purple felt. Put them all together and you have the great Darkwing Duck. And yeah, honestly, I'm really proud of how well this came out. This is one of my favorites. And of course, what's Darkwing Duck without his sidekick, Launchpad McQuack? Yeah, this is kind of more the DuckTales version since he's a lot slender. He's not as big or burly, but hey, I mean, come on. Hey, we'll put that there. Anyway, so yeah, Darkwing Duck and Launchpad. Let's see, who should my next superhero? And of course, you probably saw some Darkwing Duck episodes when you were a kid, and of course DuckTales, so why not have Gizmoduck? For those of you who never watched DuckTales or probably even Darkwing Duck, this was a Disney television show that came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and sadly, as a means to kind of get away from jumping the shark, Disney introduced a few new characters, Bubba the Cave Duck and Fenton Crackshell. Fenton Crackshell, who was Scrooge McDuck's accountant, would eventually don some very specific techno armor that was kind of like a kid-friendly version of RoboCop, and he would be Gizmoduck. He would have just one wheel at the bottom here. He'd have the little television screen with all these different colored buttons, this little wobbly antenna, just this, I'm not sure what this disc back here was. I think it was supposed to represent like a backwards baseball cap, and then just this weird insignia in front. So Gizmoduck, yes, he actually even appeared in at least 2 episodes of Darkwing Duck. So, evildoers beware! Blathering blatherskite! Look it up. Look it up. Okay, and as long as we're talking about Disney television animation, why not talk about another favorite duck-billed superhero, Perry the Platypus. Now, of course, we all know Perry from the Phineas and Ferb TV show. Perry is, of course, the very sly and elusive Agent P working for the OWCA out to stop the evil Dr. Doofenshmirtz. This was one of my first creations I made, and yes, he's not really teal so much as just kind of this cyan blue color, but it seemed to work out really well. The only thing I had trouble with were the eyebrows here, which kind of look a little disjointed. And of course, Agent P is a very two-dimensional character, so some of these things don't quite work in all 3 dimensions, but as a whole, yeah. You know, why can't Disney make a TV show starring Agent P, Gizmoduck, Darkwing Duck, Kim Possible, Jake Long, and the Gargoyles? You know you're all thinking it. Let's make that thing. Let's make that thing. So, yeah. Alright, and now as we're still talking about child-friendly superheroes, we meaning I, let's talk about another favorite of mine when I was a kid, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And here is obviously Michelangelo. Does he look really stupid? depends on how you look at them. This is the way I remember the Turtles from the action figures I grew up on as a kid. How they would just have these very flat, wide faces, and they would have their mouths would be together in the middle and gritted teeth on the side. And of course, they wouldn't even have any eyes. They would just have these blank white spaces. And of course, Michelangelo, he probably should have a little more personality than that. I really want to get to work on the other 3 turtles. I have different colors now to make them all different. And yes, he even has nunchucks with actual Pipecleaner chain links. Took a lot of time, but honestly, I thought it was worth it. So, Michelangelo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, so far, he is available on Etsy. So, check him out if you want to, or if you want to wait until I get the other 3 up, but that could take a while, so don't hold your breath. And then, of course, the only other superhero that could possibly be greater than Darkwing Duck? Super Grover. Stop laughing. Anyway, I got on a whole streak of doing Sesame Street characters. I did Elmo a while ago, but then I thought, well, I want to do Cookie Monster. I know that's a big thing now. And then I started making Oscar Grouch. Then I started making Big Bird. And then I started making Grover. But I thought, just Grover, do people even like just Grover anymore? So I decided, oh, well, he was a superhero at one point, so let's make him Super Grover. Well, come to find out that apparently they updated his looks. So now he has like twice the armor, and he actually looks like a knight with a cape. And these great pipe cleaners, they're hard to find, to be honest. So I decided to stick with the original version. So what you have is, of course, Grover. He's got the big pink nose. He's got the red lip. He's got the long, skinny body. And what he does is he has these ties around his neck and his wrists so he can tie the cape onto. Again, more red felt. And he has the lightning bolt across his chest with the giant letter G. And he has this knight's helmet right on top of his head. This one probably took a lot of work, but again, thought it was worth it. So, Super Grover. For the sweet furry lovable little monster. Okay, you know what? I'm willing to bet that you came to this video really not wanting to deal with Darkwing Duck and Michelangelo and Super Grover. Am I right? Yeah, I probably didn't think so. So let's go take a look at some of the real superheroes. After we take a look at the villains. Oh yeah, you can't do the superheroes without the villains. So, this was one of my first creations a little while ago. Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker from the original Star Wars trilogy, came down to be part of the Star Wars weekends, and of course he's also best known for being the Joker in Batman the Animated Series in the 1990s. So as my tribute, I decided to make the Cloud Prince of Crime himself. Yeah. I do apologize if I scared anyone out there. But yes, this one took me quite a bit to master the look of utter terrifyingness, I guess you'd call it. Right down to the bulging yellow eyes, the green hair, the purple suit, the yellow flower, even the saddle shoes. That was fun. His hands are a little bit small, not gonna lie, but he's pretty solidly built, and yes, his head's a little large, but I mean, the Joker, you have to, right? Of course, you know, like the rest of the world, I guess you could say I'm a bigger Marvel fan than I am a DC fan, so racking my brain trying to figure out who would be a great Marvel supervillain to create. And lo and behold, came probably the most terrifying of all, Venom. And again, for those of you who don't know, Venom is the arch enemy to SpiderMan, a alien created from a... Well, you know what? I don't know. I'm not a big comic book reader. I admit that. But from what I've seen, he is a nasty character, more than a match for Spider-Man, and it's led to some interesting confrontations and some of the best Spider-Man comic books ever made, and some of the most interesting aspects of Spider-Man's career overall, either television or movies. Okay, probably not movies. But in any case, he probably looks a little bit skinny, and yes, he is. He is very skinny. But I focused more on trying to make him big and broad-shouldered, having the long arms, having the long legs, of course having that tongue, the eyes, and the teeth. Set them all up right in the right position, and he can look pretty terrifying. I'm sure this is probably giving you nightmares as we speak. I really want to get in more black pipe cleaners so I can make his arms bigger and thicker, so he actually looks more like an intimidating villain and add more to his back. Venom and Joker are both available on Etsy, just in case you're wondering. Okay, but before I move on to the Marvel superheroes, let's move on to the superheroes that don't get nearly as much praise as the rest of the world. Of course, talking about DC. So, we talked about the Joker. Let's talk about the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Now, again, like the Joker, I based this Batman off of the 1990s television series. So you have the yellow insignia right on his chest. He's gray all over, but has the black gloves. He has the black briefs, I guess, the black boots, and of course he's got this. And it's kind of a dopey expression on his face, but these pipe cleaners can only get in so much detail, especially when you're dealing with a Cape Crusader like this. I had a lot of debate as to how to make this guy. I didn't know if I should do gray with blue, like Brave and the Bold version of Batman, but I really wanted him to look at least mildly intimidating, and I thought the blue just looked a little too goofy, campy, Adam West-ish. So, but yeah, this one seemed to work. I really liked how I cut off the cape here. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get around to more of the characters from the Batman universe. I also really want to get around to characters from Teen Titans, so if I can make like Beast Boy and Robin, that'd be fantastic. And of course, when you're talking about DC superheroes, you gotta talk about the main one himself, the Man of Steel, Clark Kent, Superman. Okay, this is probably one of the few designs I am the least proud of, but I also had to make Superman. There was just no way around it. Now, why am I not so proud of this one? Well, it's pretty simple. Again, like Venom, he's very thin, but he does have the cape, so there's that. The other thing, too, is that he definitely has a very slender, almost unrealistic physique. He doesn't look that big or strong. I really wanted to base him off the animated series where he had a very thick, very big torso, very thick, very strong arms, and I need a lot of blue pipe cleaners in order to pull this off. And of course, then there's the whole thing about the face. The reason I wanted to do superheroes, at least some superheroes, was because I wanted to do a lot of the masks, so that way I could get some realistic looking version of a superhero. And with Batman, it looks kind of halfway decent. With Superman here, do I even really need to say anything? I mean, at least I got the little curly Q in front here. And the mouth, man, the mouth was just hard. I just thought like a smug little grin was just enough to show, yeah, Superman. Honestly, I blame all my watching of Smallville. So, and of course, you know, we are getting all sorts of new DC TV shows this fall. We got Gotham coming out, Green Arrow's been going on for a few seasons, and of course, The Flash. This was one of the first major superheroes I made out of pipe cleaners, and this one was a lot of fun to make. I admit, I know nothing about the Flash. I just know that he's a superhero who's very, very fast. As if I need to know much more. The reason I made him first was because he's skinny. He's not big, he's not broad-shouldered, but he is very, very slender. And that's why I wanted to make him, so I wouldn't have to waste that many pipe cleaners. Again, the mouth was a big deal. I just put a smug smirk because I thought that he was another one of those superheroes who just kind of had a quirky personality, kind of a smart aleck. So yeah, The Flash. Hopefully this gets a lot of views and people end up liking this guy, but judging by the look on his face, probably not. Okay, so I talked about the kitty superheroes, I talked about the supervillains, and I've talked about the DC superheroes. Let's go check out the Marvel villains, shall we? Marvel superheroes. My bad. Alright, let's go. Now, if you watched my other pipe cleaner video, you probably remember that I had made Wolverine. This is why it's sometimes hard to store these things. Yeah, I'm sorry, you got a ways to go before you look like Hugh Jackman. So anyway, yes, classic Wolverine from the X-Men. This one was a lot of fun, and he was my first superhero that I made, and you know, you just can't be Wolverine. So yeah, moving on. Let's see. Alright. Of course, we've all been watching the Iron Man movies. We watched the Avengers. Now let's get a big dose of Iron Man. Now, I've been wanting to base these characters off their movie counterparts, obviously, because they're what's popular right now and you want to cash in on that. However, again, some details just work out a lot better than others. With pipe cleaners, these bend in every direction, so they have a very organic feel to them. Making something out of machine is very, very difficult. There are people who can do it. I know there's a guy here on YouTube who makes great machines, cars and motorcycles out of pipe cleaners. That's a little out of my area of expertise. So having to create something like Iron Man was nearly impossible for me. So what I ended up doing was I drew inspiration from the original comic book, where it looked like he had a big metal torso of a body, but the arms and legs just looked like yellow spandex that just wrapped around his muscles and gave him proportion. The mask was also a problem, but it was easily solvable by just 2 white pipe cleaners and a little slit right here. He doesn't need emotion. It's a mask. And then of course you got the propulsors right here on his hands, so you can strike that Iron Man pose. So yay, Robert Downey Jr. Woo! And of course, let's see, another Marvel great, the one and only SpiderMan. This one I had a lot of fun with, and again, I really was excited to make this one because he's not big, he's not broad-shouldered like the Flash, but I was worried about the eyes first and foremost, how to get this black outline to create that Spider-Man look. But the other big issue I was really worried about was the webbing on the red of his costume. If you ever look at Spider-Man's costume and you see the red on it, you'll see it has spider webbing. Now, I have a lot of skinny black pipe cleaners that I could have very easily just wrapped around and around and around, but it's so detailed, it's so fine, and it goes in a lot of contrasting directions that if mishandled just slightly, it just comes all undone. So unfortunately, it was a detail I had to give up. So what ended up happening was this, and honestly, I'm not too disappointed with it. It looks alright. It looks like Spider-Man. You take a look, and at least that's what I think. It looks like Spider-Man. Yeah, I got the little black right here to represent the spider body in the front, and I got the spider insignia on the back. And of course, he's got to strike that dangerous position, like he's about to leap off the wall and come right at you. So there's Spider-Man. Let's see. Here's another one. Of course, like everyone else, I've seen the Avengers a million times. It's one of my favorite movies, and of course, he's my favorite Avenger of all, Captain America. Captain America was another one I was really excited for making because, like I said, he's my favorite Avenger. The mask was a big draw to me. There were a couple things I changed. Like Wolverine, I put a little white over here to represent gritted teeth, growling. I had skinny white pipe cleaners, so I was able to pull off this A right on his helmet. You got the little wings on the side of his helmet as well. You got the star. You got the red and white. You got the I want to say tool belt, but I don't know what else to call it. But of course, you gotta have Captain America. You gotta have the shield. Now, if I were a lazy person, I would have just strapped it to the back and piled it on top of each other, and it would look fine. But I wanted to have him actually holding it in action pose, and this was the final result. It probably looks a little sloppy, but this is something that has to look that's round, has to stay perfectly round, and is convex. So thankfully the star was able to hold the middle portion down, but the rest of it, as you can probably see, it comes undone just a little bit. But if I add more pipe cleaners, then it looks even worse. So Captain America, the first Avenger, one of my favorites. Okay, let's also talk about this one, the Hulk. Now, I've had some issues with some of these other pipe cleaners for being pretty small, and the Hulk is, well, let me just show you. This is the Hulk right here. He's a big son of a gun. And how big is he? Not very. Yeah, he's got some fairly big arms, and I was able to tie his hands up into fists. He's got some big feet, of course. It's going to take an insane amount of light green pipe cleaners in order to pull off his exact proportions. It's really just a huge task. Hopefully as more come in, I'll be able to add more. For now, though, I think he looks at least passable. You're not going to look at this guy and go, oh, that's the Green Lantern. At least I hope not. So Hulk smash. Oh, I like the green hair on top, and I even added the cowl. Like, that was a lot of fun. I wouldn't worry too much about this light green part right here. That's just some of the green that's underneath his regular green, and it's supposed to make that he's roaring. Like I say, he's the Hulk. Now comes one I was most concerned about, because he's supposed to look very strong and noble, kind of like Superman, but if not done right, he just does not look good. And I'm just not feeling how well this one came out, but I'll let you guys be the judge. The Mighty Thor! That's right. And again, I wanted to create the character as he looked in the movie, but Chris Hemsworth, come on, man, you are way too beautiful to me to render in pipe cleaners. I mean, seriously, come on, knock it off. So, first major challenge was, of course, the cape. Red felt, tied it around here, worked out, fantastic. Next problem was the hair. He's got very long, luxurious locks. I looked up a lot of illustrations of Thor in the comic books, and of course he has the billowing blonde hair in the back, but he has a few strands that hang out in front. You know, kind of like, for lack of a better comparison, Anna from Frozen. So I was able to do that fairly well, and I think it looks alright. The other was the wings on his helmet, so he had to look Nordic. And yeah, bigger than Captain America's. I mean, I could have gone without them like Chris Hemsworth in the movie, but I think it really solidified the look here. And again, he's also not very big, and Thor is a very thick, very powerful person. He's got huge seps, and unfortunately I just was not able to get enough pipe cleaners to finish them off. Maybe as more come in, I'll be able to add more. The next problem was Mjolnir, aka his hammer. This is how his hammer looks. It looks really hollow. I think it looks kind of cheesy looking, but given what I could have cranked out, I think it came out alright. But if I get more great pipe cleaners, I'll be able to work on that. And finally, of course, the issue was the face. I do think it looks really kind of dumb. I wasn't even sure how big to make the chin, and I only settled on the gritted teeth again because I wasn't sure what kind of a look he should have on his face. So here he is with a permanent look of fury, anger, piss-offness, if you will. Yeah, hopefully this will, as I get more pipe cleaners, I'll make him look a little better. Also, I should probably mention him, Hulk, Wolverine, Captain America, Iron Man. These guys, they're all available on Etsy. As is this final guy right here. As I know, in addition to Avengers, you all also went to the theaters and watched the recent Guardians of the Galaxy. And of course, I had to make Rocket Raccoon. Yeah. This one is the most popular character pipe cleaner I have in my shop right now. He has the most favorites, the most views, and the most likes. Big question right now, why doesn't he have a gun? Well, plain and simple, his legs are not very sturdy. He is a very light creature. He doesn't weigh much. If I were to add a gun, a pipe cleaner gun, for one thing, I couldn't decide on what color to use. It just would have probably looked really stupid. And like I said, having to create a machine out of pipe cleaners just ends up looking really stupid. But I decided not to give him a gun, whatever size, whatever shape, and ultimately he just would not have been able to stand up. A lot of these guys can't stand up on their own as is, and at least Rocket, he has his tail to help him stay up. So I felt that just only would have weakened it and made it look really, really bad. So there's that, but Rocket was a really hard design to find. I couldn't find many like turnaround model sheets of what he looked like all the way around, and honestly I can't wait for the DVD to come out. So Rocket, as well as all the other guys here, they're available on Etsy. Okay, so thank you for sticking around on my superhero editions of Pipecleaner Creatures, or my Pipe Creatures as I call them. Go on my Etsy page. I'll provide the link below, and you can see what's for sale on Etsy, and I'll put up as much as I can, as often as I can. If you have requests, if you have any commissions, just message me on Etsy, and I will see what I can do. I'm also on Facebook. Look up The Original Pipe Creatures, and there you'll find connections to my Etsy store. Now, this is where I'll be putting up the video as well, so go check that out as well. I have a whole bunch more pipe creatures, and I really want to show them off to you. And for those of you wondering, yes, I do plan on making more of these superheroes. I want to make Deadpool. I want to make Green Lantern. I want to make Wonder Woman. I want to make Aquaman. Um, now that I have Rocket Raccoon, I want to make Groot. Yes, I am Groot. I want to make more of these guys. It just takes a lot of time and effort to throw these together. But hopefully I can get around to these and make as many as possible because the superheroes do seem to be pretty popular on Etsy, despite I'm not sure who wants to buy pipe cleaners of superheroes on an art site. But hey, I don't know my audience, and the more I hear back from them, the better. And thank you for sticking around this video for as long as you have. And now that you have, I do have one additional surprise for you for our current work in progress. It's me, Mario! Thanks everyone.